my phone, and there are things that I cannot.
And we're live, supposedly.
It got brighter.
Yeah, I did. Okay, since we have Ian's stunt double today, Cedar.
Yes, I can certainly stand in for Ian. I cannot do the accent. So let's see here. Courtney's fundraiser has reached the goal. It will be left up until Friday. So feel free to contribute because the stretch goals are currently new glasses for Courtney and a new multi-tool for Ian, which he doesn't need, so you don't need to stretch that far.
But you can help with the air conditioning here.
But you can help with the air conditioning because my car read 106 in the garage as I get ready to come here. So Ko-Fi.com, the blanket fort.
The blanket fort is very expensive in weather like this.
Yes.
And yeah.
The blanket fort is concrete block construction, and I'm pretty darn sure there's no insulation involved in that.
I have a west-facing wall.
And a west-facing wall. So it gets a little warm.
All day long.
And if you are someplace where you are cold enough, or if you like iced coffee, and I'm ready for you to make faces at me now.
No.
Order from King Harv's. The blanket fort blend is light and refreshing.
And we potentially have a new blanket fort blend coming out, maybe.
That was exciting. I'm looking forward to that because I want to test that out when they put it out. So if it happens, it will be a chicory blend.
Yeah.
So for those of you,
I don't think we were supposed to say that.
Probably not. But I was going to say, if we want to make it happen, asking for it.
Yeah, true.
Letting him know that he has a market. So I do not need a fake mustache. I have Wendell.
Yeah.
Because I do not spank my monkey in public. And I have broken Jim. My job here is done.
No, just no. We are not. Hell, we're not even 2 minutes in. My God. And y'all say we're bad?
No. We just enjoy breaking you.
Okay.
As Wallbanger. No, that's not Wallbanger. That's David. Sorry. You guys in the chat, you're scrolling so fast, I'm losing. Just saying what? Have you met us? Yes.
Yeah. True.
I started out in the chat.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
Weirder things have happened.
She does have play toys with her today, though.
I do. James Sharp made these lovely little miniatures, and
hold it closer to the camera.
I'm going to have to hold it way closer. There we go. Let's see if the camera will focus on it. It is, if the camera is not going to focus, it sort of thought about it, but no. It's a ranger on a fox. And there is also, let's see if I can get this up and to the camera, a werewolf on a bison. That's not actually where he's supposed to be, but the werewolf won't stand up by himself. So now he's on his trusty fuzzy steed.
So Cedar has something to paint now. Yes.
Well, I have paints. I've never actually painted minis, so hopefully I can do them justice. Yeah. But yeah, James Sharp made these and gave them to the folks at LibertyCon, and they made their way back to the blanket fort. And I'm not as fidgety as Ian, but I wanted some toys. So.
And I cannot paint them because that would mean no coffee, and I'm not functional without coffee.
No, we need you to have your coffee.
Yes, thank you. Hot coffee,
yes.
Year round.
Right, black, no adulterants.
Right.
Right.
Werewolf needs a base, yes.
Yeah, the werewolf probably does need to be on a base. And he looks like he would stand up because of how his feet are placed, but something's off balance and he doesn't actually stand. They are intended to be at least elusive to the Fluffy Cow universe.
Yeah.
They're characters from the Uplifted universe.
Yes.
A based werewolf, that's Earl.
Yes, that would be Earl.
Raptor, if you want it, go get it. I'm not going to talk you out of anything. I wouldn't necessarily pay for the fancy stuff, but, if you want it, get it.
I think it's just like anything else. like having fine china in the cupboard. If you want a fancy gun, you should go get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then use it, not
Yeah,
just leave
but
it
that's
in
the
the
problem.
safe.
A lot of people make them safe queens.
Yeah. No. No, don't do that. If you have something nice, use it. Take
Yeah.
it out.
I just found out I got offered a chance at one yesterday. That's an oddball. It's an M1A 5-digit serial number built in the late 60s for the Vietnamese
Oh, ooh, that would be an interesting
for a
one.
sniper rifle.
Oh, yeah. And that's definitely your thing.
Yeah. But it doesn't have the scope. But, it's just
How much trouble would it be to find a scope that was
pain
authentic to it?
in the butt.
That's what I thought. So
20 years ago, all that stuff was on eBay.
and it was cheap because I know when Sanford wanted a Mosin Nagant, everybody was telling me that they were like $100, and it was not. But
I remember when they were 50.
right, and that's what everybody was like. Oh, it's super cheap, and I mean, I bought him that 5 years ago, I think it was, and it wasn't that cheap. But that's what happens to the market is people start looking for the cheap stuff because it's cheap.
Yeah.
And that drives the price up.
Carlton, it's an original 308. It's a TRW bolt and barrel. So it is all original. You're talking about eBay, though.
Tom Rognaby, you number one GI. You want scope? I get you a scope.
That was a few years ago, Tom. Matter of fact, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, probably before I was born.
Yeah.
Sorry.
74, 75, yes.
Before I was born.
Oh, be quiet.
Sorry.
Yeah. Children, we have to deal
We're
with it.
surrounded by children.
Yes.
It makes me feel better because honestly, now that all of my children are adults, I'm beginning to feel old.
You don't even have any grandkids yet. Shut up.
Yeah, be quiet about that.
4K, that's for the M14 he was talking about, isn't it? Okay.
And it's not even full auto. 19, Jesse, 19. I'm talking about eBay, though. When I built my M40A1 claw, I took it down to Jim Land to get him to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And he pulled an original one out of the safe. And then he pulled another rifle out of the safe. It was a nasty looking old Model 70 with a nasty ass tombstone scope on it. It was one of his original Vietnam rifles.
I was going to say there had to have been a reason he was holding on to it. That was why.
And he got both pieces of it off of eBay.
So it had been issue and then Milsurp, and then he found it and bought it.
Yep.
Wow, that is really cool.
And it was funny because the way he told the story, it's in the old days we searched eBay because there was a lot of stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people did not know what they had.
Yeah.
And he said the ad ran, it's an old heavy barrel Model 70 that somebody had tried to re-blue and screwed up. Well, the picture wasn't re-bluing, it was parkerization that had been used. And there was a partial serial number. So Jim said he sent the guy an email and asked for the serial number.
Mm-hmm.
Guy sent it back. Jim said he went over to his safe, which had all the parts from the original ones. Went, yep, that's one of ours. And gave the guy an offer of dirt cheap, like $300.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy went, sold.
Oh, cool.
And a couple of months later, he's back on eBay again looking. And there's a old Redfield tombstone scope that the guy said somebody scratched their driver's license number in.
Oh, that's a good way to have it by identifier. Yeah.
So Jim said he sent the guy, this guy an email, said, what was that number that was scratched in the bottom of the scope? Guy sends it back. He goes over it. Yep, that's one of ours. Jim said he had sent a sergeant up to Okinawa with all the money they could come up with to buy scopes.
Mm-hmm.
So they had gotten some tombstone scopes. They had gotten some Unertals, and that was how they outfitted the original Vietnamese sniper rifles for the Marines. Hello, lady. Come on, sit down.
Oh, I'm sitting.
Courtney am here.
Yep.
So now I'm outnumbered 3-1.
It's Jim and the three moms of the apocalypse. What could go wrong?
I think I'm gonna get the hell out of
Oh
here.
no, honey. No. You should like go let us get into your safe and that great big thing on your back porch. We could have some serious fun.
Yes.
No.
It is too hot to go to the range.
I know. I know. The girl can dream.
So he ended up getting basically what is a $7,000 rifle. That's about what they're worth for less than $600.
By buying it in pieces and parts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So
But like I said, that was back in the day.
we have a request to know how you're feeling.
Tired, but good.
Good.
So recovering slowly, but recovering is happening.
Good.
Yeah, Danger Will Robinson is right, Mike. I am sliding around so that if I need to run, I can. And since Courtney can't move that fast, I think I can get by her. But I'm worried about Jonna cutting me off at the pass.
I am between you and the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Is Courtney medicated? Depends on what you mean by medicated.
Medication will not be here till tomorrow, so no, Courtney is
Oh.
not
Oh.
medicated.
It is on the way though.
It is on the way.
Yay.
Yes.
That is good.
I mean, there's the other medications are in play, but those are the like.
Carlton, who are you
Vitamin D.
referring to? Because I have been called ma'am since I was about 17 years old. There are side effects to being a cadet officer in the Civil Air Patrol. Except briefly, the Air Force decided that they were going to do equality.
Yeah.
So any officer was sir.
Yeah.
Which led to me for a little while being called sir. So I have actually been sir.
Yeah.
So, Courtney, there's a comment that says the next time someone says someone has or has something took real stones, you can legitimately yell, overrated.
Yes, I can, and
Oh.
yes, it is.
Jesse, I don't think she'd use her good scissors for that. She might stick them in me.
Flesh is better than aluminum.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of ammo, if anybody is looking for good 22 ammo that actually expands in a target, Aguila has some new hollow point out. And I just drew a blank on the name of it. But it actually works well and it puts a decent wound channel out. RK says, I got served a lot in the Army. Well, RK, the Army's confused as usual. Brennan, why does that not surprise me? Maybe someone.
Good scissors and combat scissors. There's an idea.
Yeah.
I have those already.
So, if any of y'all play Munchkin, there's actually a card that was designed for Jonna, and it depicts a lady with combat scissors.
It's a wonderful card.
Yes,
It is
David.
an awesome image.
It's me holding my giant 8-inch shears.
Goes away from me.
No, pinking shears are different. Pinking shears cut a little zigzag. I have a pair of those, but not here.
Jonna's digging for hers.
Donna has some. Oh, those are exactly what I have at home.
Yep.
So-
Yeah, they make an edge that does not fray.
So
This
the,
is before surgers. This is the pre-surger.
well, and this is the thing here too, is that pinks are not named for the color.
Nope.
They are named for the flower.
Oh.
dianthus or pinks, because they're a vivid pink color, have a frayed edge to their petals, something like you would get on a fabric if you cut it with this. And that is where pinking comes from. It's actually related to the flowers.
Tom says, I have a sudden image of John in a long pleated leather skirt, a corset, multiple scissor holders, and a winged helmet.
That would work.
We were called the Norns.
And she's smiling.
We can't be the Norns. We're not maidens.
I
Exactly.
already made that outfit a while ago. So.
Mm-hmm. So that's Jonah's Munchkin card. So yes, there are combat scissors. Pinking in the brain. Oh God, Wally, you're brilliant.
And we're off the rails, and we're not even 10 minutes in.
Right?
Well, a little over. Of course, we never found the rails to start with.
Rails.
We sold them for scrap a year or two ago.
Sean says, I can see the status now.
He doesn't stand up. He
Winged
wants to listen.
seamstress of the Lone Star State. The statue now. Brian said, when are you going to make that outfit? Jana says she already has.
Yep.
Oh no, Tom says his daughter figured out that she got ice cream when she got a haircut. She took her grandmother's pinking shears to her hair on a couple of occasions before they fixed that behavior. Oh no, smart children. Smart children will be the death of us.
Oh, yes. Trust me on that one.
Mm-hmm. I figure you've got your two, and they're probably pretty smart.
And grandkids,
Uh-huh. Oh, my son has a new job.
yes. Okay.
He is working for a guy that builds and repairs very large farm equipment.
Okay.
Right now they are assembling 43-foot plows, and then they will move on to the 60-foot plows. And I think they had said they had 5 of.
Well, it's that time of year.
Yeah, and they're working overnight because it's too damn hot to work during the day.
Yep.
The mechanic said that it's too hot to touch the metal during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So he's essentially working third shift doing labor, and which will graduate into more skilled stuff as he learns what the heck he's doing, because right now he doesn't know. But I'm very pleased with this. This is much better than some of the things that he's been finding online and coming to me and saying, I want to.
Oh my God.
He had a conversation with you, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Oh.
So, why did you quit delivering pizza? Well, $25 an hour doesn't sound like a bad idea. Oh my God.
Because what it's listed on the job listing online is that the pay is between like $18 to $22 an hour,
Yeah.
plus tips that he assumed.
Right.
That's not
That's
how
not
it
how it
works.
It
And he did
never
not
works
believe
that way.
me.
No, he did believe you, and
Did he actually?
he
Okay.
did go to an interview, but he'd already had it set up, and so he wasn't at all surprised when they were like, I forget what the base rate was, but
Minimum wage. It's usually
Yeah.
minimum wage or
Yeah.
maybe minimum wage plus 50 cents.
yeah. Well, it's like the waitresses at our local Mexican joint make $2.30 an hour,
Yeah.
plus
Mhm.
tips. So
Which is why we always tip well.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. No, that's. I mean, I know that it feels sometimes like tipping has gone up, but honestly, cost of living has gone up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, and I would do full shifts where I made $20 in tips.
yeah,
And
and that sucks, and you can't live like that.
no.
So
Well, in Australia, a hostess or waitress or wait person
mm-hmm,
makes somewhere between $22 and $25 an hour,
mm-hmm.
but they don't get tips.
Well, and a waitress in a busy restaurant in a decent area can make some really decent money, but the problem is that if you're in a restaurant that's not busy or it has busy times, but not other times, then it doesn't make any sense. One of the little local eateries, the little cafe over here in town, we talked to the waitress there, and they get paid because they don't make tips. They get paid like $6 or $7 an hour.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting enough in tips, so they have to be paid enough to make it up to minimum wage.
Yeah.
Which sucks. And she told me that sometimes there's not people in there for like an hour at a time.
Well,
So,
it's still coming back, but at least they're still open.
yeah, no, absolutely. And I know Sanford will go there for a meal once in a while.
Yeah.
While I'm working, because it gives them something.
I try to hit them a couple of times a week usually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, where you really make money is if you're wait staff in a private club,
Mm. Yeah,
because they make $70,000-$80,000 a year as wait staff.
that doesn't surprise me.
But those are also very, very professional.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like we went to the local Mexican joint. The gal that waited on us took everybody's drink orders
Yeah.
and got them right. Took everybody's food orders and got them all right, and she never wrote anything down.
Yeah.
I could not do that. I'm like, that was some skill right there.
Now, the really good ones will have the order put in when you walk in the door,
Mhm.
and your drink will beat you to the table.
Yeah, well, and then you get up into the big leagues. Like my kid who starts Friday. My daughter is starting Friday at Octa in Oregon with a Michelin star chef.
Outstanding.
He's earned 2 Michelin stars, and she went in for an interview to be part of pastry, and also got pulled in as a line person, where it's $285 to sit at the table.
Yeah.
And it's a tasting menu with wine pairings, and it's professional, and she's making a crap ton of money.
Yay! That
Just
is
as-
excellent.
It is so excellent. I mean, so yeah, I'm really proud of her. I'm probably going to post that in North Texas Troublemakers. But her first day is
Outstanding.
Friday. And
Awesome.
I'm like, very proud.
And she's super impressive just to start. And
Yeah.
Well, she's 28, and she's worked her way up to this. She was a chef of a restaurant, at 28. And the guy was like, "You have an amazing amount of experience for someone your age." But she's not a regular millennial. She actually knows how to work.
Mhm.
That would be great, Brennan, if you can get it.
Yeah, if you can get it, and if moving to Alaska is the best thing for you guys.
Well,
'cause
he wants to go back. So.
I know he does,
Yeah,
but
Emma, it will be too far away from us.
Emma will be too far away.
Yeah.
You need to bring Emma closer. This is what Brendan, we need to bring Emma closer to us, okay?
well, okay. So here's my thing with it, which is I miss Alaska, and my cousins will post pictures, and I will really want to go back, but I can't for health reasons because I have cold triggered asthma now. But the other thing is Alaska is really difficult to live there.
Yeah.
You're on the long end of the supply chain. Everything is expensive. The winter is long.
Yeah.
Long. And it's not an easy choice, and a lot of people go up there and realize that it's not going to work for them. And
Yep.
I've seen it destroy marriages.
Oh yeah.
So it's something that you want to consider long-term stuff. I mean, for a long time, I really wanted to go back, and now for one thing, now if I went back, I'd have to live in Anchorage, and no, not living in Anchorage. No.
Tom put up Kentucky Derby, top floor, Millionaires Row.
Yeah.
10,000 a table, 6 people max. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for those people that are sitting at those tables, that's pocket change.
Well, and he's saying it's only 1 or 2 days a year, but there's races there more often than that, because I drove by it periodically when I was down, either going to see my mom or visit the in-laws, and there was always something going on in that area. So, yes, Jonna is not a writer. We're fine with this. She creates in other ways.
She creates hate and discontent. Well, yes. Ruh-roh.
She got real quiet over there.
Usually in people. people who can't pull their own weight. So
Yeah.
I think it's important to keep in mind that, you know, if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a family, you have to make sure that you have a plan. And if
Yeah, the big spenders don't go during the normal races.
True,
Uh,
true.
Yeah, my cousins just came back from doing an Alaskan tour with the grandkids. And I was kind of poking fun at them. I said, y'all saw more of Alaska in 2 weeks than I saw in 20 years. And my cousin poked me back. She says, well, you ought to go up there for fun. And I
Uh-huh.
went, yeah, no.
My mom's family has been up there since before it was a state. And during the time I lived up there after Dad was out of the military, we lived in Tok, which is the interior, and Juneau, which is a little tiny pocket of landlocked city that is jammed full of people and has absolutely no room to expand. So, very different places and very
Yeah.
different experiences. But
Alaska is one of the few places that the aviation charts actually have all the crashes marked on them because they get tired of them getting re-reported.
mm-hmm.
So the ROE up there, at least for the military pilots, is if you see a plane crash, check your chart before you report it to make sure it's a new one.
Yeah.
And they do happen up there on a regular basis, sadly.
Yeah. Brennan, your grandparents were in Sitka. Sitka is where my parents met.
Yeah.
They were attending college at Sheldon Jackson there, which is now defunct, but that is where they met. And then I started there. I didn't get born there, but
Hey,
So-
David, the more writers in the family, the more cups of coffee you can buy. Trust me.
Sam, distraction is par for the course with a writer. So
Yeah.
there will be another postcard challenge.
God. We have to get through one more. Oh my God.
Well, I actually opened
Well, David, that's your own fault. I know you don't drink coffee, but I got to poke at you for that.
I opened the template for what are we calling the Imaginarium postcards?
Imagine that.
Oh, okay. Now I know. I can start work.
Yeah.
I thought I was always the last one to know around here.
We were throwing stuff back and forth. Yes,
We've been
Dave?
kind of busy the last
A
couple
little
of weeks.
bit. Yeah.
Well, and not only have they been busy for the last couple of weeks, but when two people live under the same roof, it means that there's a lot more easy communication. So,
There's been a whole lot of sitting around in waiting rooms where we've been able to talk about that. So.
mhm.
Just a little. Yeah.
Oh,
At least you had something to
Yeah.
talk about.
This is true.
Yes, we are avoiding the word postcards in the title now because it confused the heck out of Amazon, and we had a long battle to get postcards from fools done, and we would like to avoid that.
Yeah,
So,
and quite
let's
frankly,
not.
calling the ones from Liberty Con single servings of Liberty was the smoothest launch we have ever had
Yeah,
of
Yeah.
a postcards book.
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, we're trying to learn from our mistakes, trying not to make the same mistakes twice, which just leads to new and interesting mistakes.
and speaking of which, Moggy's in Space comes out tomorrow, right?
But it's like it actually
Moggy's
just
in
went live
Space
about an
is
hour ago.
live.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is.
Oh,
Hey,
It's an Ian.
it's an Ian. No, I am going to move. Well, okay, maybe not. Never mind. It's an Ian, but we're not going to share him with the public at the moment.
Fun day at the Raisin Farm.
So, yes.
fuckity, fuck.
All
Fun
right
day at
then.
the Raisin Farm.
I guess I was wrong about monkeys getting spanked today.
Would you like to abuse Cecil?
Where is Cecil?
I don't know where Cecil is. I have Wendell.
I haven't seen Cecil for a while. I think he went down.
We may
behind
have
the side
to
of the couch.
Hide Wendell's eyes and cover his ears. Where are a manatee's ears anyway? I mean,
He doesn't have ears, nor does he have shoulders.
no, he has not got shoulders. So he's just turned Cecil over his knee. Another suspicious thumping and banging.
There are days, and then there are days, and
Right.
this is
Government functionaries. God damn.
one of those days. So,
Do you want to rant or just want to sit there? He should just sit there for a minute.
Yeah, let's let him collect his rant into something coherent.
there are
So-
more window shirts for sale. Jonna does have some more for sale.
Yes,
Yep, they're on Tatters and Ramblings.
they're super
Yeah.
cute. Look at those tiny little buttons. Yes, so Wendell has Hawaiian shirts because, well, that's kind of de rigueur
Yeah.
around here. they're surprisingly similar in
Yeah.
motif here, actually.
Now, I don't quite match the background. I'm keep trying to find one that does.
Ian's jumping on his monkey. For those asking about whether that's spanking, no, that was jumping.
Yes, it is a window-sized Hawaiian shirt.
So Wendell shirts are listed on tattersandravellings.com.
I just put it in the chat.
Oh, and she put it somewhere? I'm not seeing it, but that's okay.
It's in the chat. It'll work its way up.
Yeah,
Eventually.
right. No, lukewarm
Lukewarm.
tea through the sinuses. Although, you know, they market cleanses that do that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
Peter Gabriel's lesser known hit, Stomp
Yeah.
the Monkey.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's having one of those weeks.
Yeah.
You know, we're in our second week of well over 100 degrees
And no break in sight.
and no break in sight.
I was excited there for a minute on the forecast. It looked like we might possibly get rain, but even that, they took it away from us.
Oh, yeah. Well, the best day a weather guesser can have, they might be right half the time.
This heat wave in Texas right now is easy for them.
Yeah.
Just pencil in the numbers and
Yeah.
up down by like 2 and you're good.
Hot, and it might rain.
And don't combine two cities on the same little spot because then you get 105,000, 107 degrees.
Pieces of Cecil are now flying through the blanket fort. And Cecil fuzz. I believe that's a Cecil tail. The fuzz.
Well, RK,
Cecil had to
yeah,
make the ultimate sacrifice.
we've basically been in the same situation since mid-June, but we did have a couple of days where it actually got below 100.
It got down into the 90s and we got some rain.
You know, and it's bad. It's really bad when you go outside in the morning and it's 95 and it feels good. It's like, wait a minute, something is not right here.
I would say that many things are not right.
There's the squeaker.
We now have a little screamy box.
Now the question is, will it work?
I think it's busted. It looks off kilter. It has a battery.
It does.
If it wasn't
He done
busted
broke it.
before now,
He
yeah,
did
just-
broke it.
It
yeah,
ain't
just
fixed
knock the
now.
wolf over.
I'll bet I can fix it.
So,
My toy. It's my toy now. You broke it.
I'm not sure Ian's actually a lobotomized Cecil because the head's fairly intact, but
We need to put it on a stick though.
Yeah, we've also got the high fire danger up here, RK.
yeah.
So should I like get you a drink from the bar?
Would you like a drink?
A nice stiff drink. One of us can drop you at home. You don't have to drive.
God knows there's enough of them up there.
Dismembered. Yes, the word is dismembered. Zombie Cecil. That would take probably more effort than I'm willing to put into sewing back together. Because I know better than to ask Jonna to sew this thing. I don't even know what some of these pieces are. Yeah, the burn ban, the threatening smokers if they crack their car windows open. the one that amused me was about trailer chains, making sure that your trailer chains aren't dragging.
Yeah.
Well, those set more fires than you would ever believe.
No, I know. Because I've seen that somebody going down the highway with this little rooster tail of sparks coming up off of that.
And
So-
sparks will blow off to the side of the road,
Mm-hmm.
and they're usually actually pieces of metal embedded in that sparking, and that hits the side of the road, and it's still hot enough that it will light off the grass.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. The grass is just looking for an excuse right now.
And it's the same thing with the train tracks.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of which, there was an oddity this morning when I was going in to pick up the ammo.
Mhm.
A double stacker
Mhm.
going eastbound with one engine. And that poor sucker might have been making 20 miles an hour. I mean, he was barely getting down the rails. And then I come back
Mhm.
about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and there's one going west with 6 engines. So apparently they're short of engines out west, which is odd.
Well, we got freight coming from out west, but I don't think maybe we're not sending as much west as we used to.
What's going to be interesting is seeing what happens now that yellow has gone belly up,
Yeah.
yellow bellied.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's going to be.
There are some pissed off truckers, male and female, over that one.
Yeah, I saw a couple of friends ranting on that one. 30,000 of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's a lot of trucks that aren't going places, delivering stuff.
And those were last mile and partial load. So, you know, they were the ones that were actually delivering freight that were equipment and our parts and our other things. What's called a last mile. So it would come to the warehouse, get broken down,
Mhm.
and then those trucks would get loaded with 3 or 4 loads.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then those would go to the next.
Yeah.
And they would go to their final destination.
When I was 19, I worked for a while for Roadway, and that was what Roadway, at least in the
Yeah.
area where I was doing. And I was a dispatcher. So I would organize who got loaded with what and where they went. And this was before GPS. I had a big map in my office.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I still to this day, I'm like, why did they stick 19-year-old me in that job? Because I was not that familiar with the city. All I had was the map and
Probably because you were a girl and they weren't going to yell at you.
well, that's true. All the truckers kind of tucked me under their wing.
Yeah.
And, they wanted to bring me on full time, but I didn't have any kind of a degree.
Yeah.
And the corporate wasn't going to look at me without a degree.
Yeah.
So I was a temp there for 6-8 months and then had
Yeah.
to go elsewhere.
John, from what I'm hearing, it was the union not wanting to give and management, so a combination of both. But
They played
apparently-
chicken and lost.
Huh?
They played chicken and lost.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah, apparently a lot of the drivers are pissed at the union
Mm-hmm.
because the union turned around and went back to what they were doing and told the drivers, yeah,
Yep.
sorry, we lost.
Yep.
Can't help you. You're out of work. You're on
Yeah.
your own.
Truckers being angry at state and federal government is nothing new.
Mhm.
That's pretty much on a daily fucking basis.
And for a long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That is one of the reasons that Caterpillar has made a butt ton of money with their way stations that are in truck stops
Ah.
because people were getting pulled in way stations for being overweight,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and they're going, but when I weighed out, I was dead on the money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to this, you're not.
Yeah.
So Caterpillar started installing these certified way stations
Mm-hmm.
in truck stops.
So you can check yourself.
Check yourself. They will verify the weight. They will pay to take it to court
Mm-hmm.
because they are certified way stations.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was going to say is okay, if it was dead on, which you're gonna get a little variance no matter what. Depends on your scale because there's always that plus minus. But when was the scale certified?
Yeah.
And when was the scale calibrated?
Yep.
And it's funny because in chemistry, working with instrumentation, that's always a question. You have to have everything is within calibration, and the PMs have
Yep.
been done and whatnot. And when I took my criminal justice classes, one of the conversations that came up in one of the classes was about radar guns,
Oh yeah.
because evidently people started fighting the radar guns because they weren't doing anything with them, so they had no idea whether they were accurate or not.
Well, they were supposed to be checking them with a tuning fork.
The tuning fork.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Tuning
different.
forks how you calibrate it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're supposed to do it at the beginning of every shift.
But the was it the Ford Crown Vic that the alternator was running hot, would generate 76 miles an hour?
Ford Crown Vic, the alternator would, and the Chevy Caprices, the air conditioning fan would. If you run
Air
the
conditioning fan
The air conditioning fan in a Chevy Caprice.
would generate
Okay.
a 76 mile an hour speed rating.
Because of the frequency. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
So
That's
anybody that got pulled over doing 76 miles an hour,
the conversation in the class, because this was supposed to be training baby cops,
Yeah.
was basically make sure that you do what you're supposed to do for maintenance and calibration.
Yeah.
So
oh, and Winkle Red did pass his tower climb certification.
excellent.
So-
Excellent.
Congratulations
So-
to you, sir, and
Safe travels home.
more power to you for climbing that high.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that shit.
A high angle rescue, I've done that, and that's scary crap, honestly. I have to say though that it is worse when you're the one strapped to the stretcher.
Yeah.
In a training class.
Nope, 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 nope.
No.
I will jump off of things for fun. I will not do that.
When I took,
Do we lose sound, or is that just for RK? Somebody sound
No.
off.
Frank is
hello,
Frank and the Gremlins are coordinating with Frank.
are we there?
Okay,
Are we
evidently
there?
we're
Sound is good. Okay.
so. Brian, when I went to college the first time, my degree was camping and specifically wilderness oriented training. And high angle rescue was one of the classes that was there because I was actually training to be working on ropes courses and rock climbing.
Back in the 70s, I was actually going to college on active duty, finish my degree. And one of the things we had to do was to develop a training plan. And I was also volunteer fire rescue instructor. And we had a situation in Florida where another department had screwed up on a rescue badly.
Oh,
So they mandated that we do rescue training with various pieces of equipment,
okay.
including K-28s, Hurst tools.
What's a K-28? That one I'm not familiar with.
K-28, you see them in use. They look like a concrete saw.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're basically a concrete saw with a special blade on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shut up, David. So, got with a couple of guys out of Jacksonville, and we wrote this course up. And it was basically about a 16-hour rescue course. And one of the things that we did was made a deal with some of the junkyards, and they would haul cars to the fire department that had been in wrecks.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would cut them up and do the simulated rescues.
Yeah, that sounds like good training.
But what we would do is put one of the firemen in as the patient.
That's not comfortable.
I would always go in first
Mm-hmm.
and let them do it because, I figured lead by example. And I'm going to tell you, when you're covered up with a blanket and they're getting ready to cut the roof, and somebody starts that K-28 saw up,
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
oh shit.
So I wound up going to a lot of dad's training classes with what he did with emergency medicine. And I've been put in moulage a lot and used as a
Yeah.
training dummy, basically lay there, lay still, kid. But they never put me in anything like that because that would be dangerous, and I was a kid or a
Yeah.
teenager. So, hi James.
One of the best people that we had for running a K20 or a Hearst tool, which the original Hearst tool was big and heavy, was a little girl that was about 5'4" and might have weighed 110 pounds. But I swear, Lissa could run that thing like I mean, she made art with that thing.
That is very cool.
She could pop a door
Mm-hmm.
and not get the whole structure reverberating.
Cool.
You know, we would try it. You know, and the whole car would be going, yeah. She just dink. Door would fall off. Okay.
Sometimes it's not about size; it's about understanding where to hit.
Yeah. And that has more than one. Not going there. Never mind.
Hi, Bill. I'm glad you popped in to say hi. Give Jim an out.
Thank you. Yeah, she could definitely finesse it. But the Hearst tool was one of the harder things to teach because there were so many danger areas with it.
Yeah.
Because when you get a crush on a vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
you get all kinds of tension points.
Right.
And I love her intro to Space Moggies. Ian's here, he can tell her. Nancy said she loves Rita's intro into Space Moggies. And you got a thumbs up, Nancy. It's more than experience and skill, Brian. You're right. It's a thing. Because being able to get that tool in and not have it twist on you, because I mean that thing's strong enough, it'll literally break an arm.
I'm so 12.
But being able to get it in and get the job done, and especially if you were having to cut pedals,
Yeah.
because if you've got somebody impaled on a pedal, and you've got to stick that thing down in there and cut the pedal,
Mhm.
you don't want to make the injury any worse.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a lot of vehicular rescue, from what I understand, is basically trying not to further injure the person that's trapped in there.
Well, not only that, but if you've got a rescuer in the car stabilizing them, now you've got twice the problems.
Mm-hmm.
Excessive fidgeting on camera.
I will do my best.
Yeah, Bill, getting in and getting a job done is important in many areas. Yes.
Nancy, is that your crushed Forerunner? And if so, why is it crushed?
No, she had an accident.
You okay?
Oh, that does not sound good.
Yeah, that doesn't
rear-ended.
sound good. So,
Youth and yeah. Old age and experience overcomes youth and exuberance. This is true. And you just hope you survive the mistakes to become old. Jesse goes, Nancy, if it's not yours, how many folks do you need for an alibi?
Don't look at me. I'm not doing alibis.
oh,
Now you just keep creating exhibits for me to be right for when the body goes missing.
I showed you a job that could teach you how to break down long pig and nothing flat. You can mix it in the barbecue, but no.
Ian tagged Courtney and I
All three
All
bombs.
three
and
moms.
Jonna in a job that's hiring locally for a taxidermy and butcher.
Exhibit A.
experience butchering. I mean, it's been a while, but
So do I, but I think
Thank God I did not take a drink.
I was gonna say I have experience in that too, but I think it's a little bit different than yours. So
Damn it. Jonna, quit trying to kill me, girl.
and I mean, I haven't broken down anything really large by myself
I have.
because because when we were getting moose and caribou, I was still a teenager, and it was a family affair.
It was not a family affair in my case.
Tom says roadkill cafe, taxidermy, butcher shop, bait shop, and healthcare center. Yep.
We might have one of those around here. It would not surprise me.
Yeah, Padre, old age experience and treachery works too.
So does a big pocket hammer.
Yep.
Especially if the hammer has an axe blade on the other side.
Yes.
Um,
Pig farms do work too.
a moose bit my sister. Well, in my case, my sister might have bitten a moose. I mean,
Moose, moose, I like it.
oh, I can only imagine trying to field butcher anything with a veterinarian providing verbal assistance. Why wasn't the veterinarian actually like hands-on helping? He knows what's going on in there.
I can imagine the veterinarian going, "Move, get out of the way. Let me show you how to do this."
the last pigs that we raised on the farm before I wound up moving out on Dad, it was Veterans Day. We had planned to put the pig down the next week when we had a free weekend where the two of us could butcher out, because 300-pound sow was going to be a lot of butchering.
Oh yeah.
Well, she figured out she could get out of her pen, and she did so repeatedly. Dad was out to lunch with his dad doing the Veterans Day thing, because they were both veterans, and they both got free lunch, and they would always go out on Veterans Day together. So Pig gets out, and the second time she'd gotten all the way over to the neighbors, and I got her back with a bucket of grain, or I forget what now I had in the bucket, because it could have been anything that I could rattle. And I got her right under the pulley.
Bucket of brain.
But no, brain doesn't give the appropriate rattle to catch their attention. It just squishes, and they don't realize it's good food. So I get the pig back over, and I get her underneath the pulley, drop the grain, so she's standing there eating the grain off the ground, and I had the rifle ready, and I put her down. And used the truck to get her up on the pulley and hang her. And by the time my dad shows up, I'm literally up to my shoulders inside this pig, she's a sow. And he walks up and he's like, "Do you want a hand?" And I said, "Yes, please." And he starts to clap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'm going to throw things at you and they will splat."
And yeah, I learned as a kid, because we used to raise and butcher our own hogs.
Mm-hmm.
And that was always at the family reunion.
Yeah, well, it works better when you have lots of hands.
Yeah. But, oh my God, cranking that damn sausage grinder. That was what the kids always got stuck doing.
I'm kind of surprised nobody thought to hook it up to some kind of little engine. I've seen that done.
This was in the 50s and 60s in the country.
Yeah.
Manual.
Yes.
Yeah.
True. I did a lot of
the
cranking.
sugar cane processing was with a mule that walked in circles, which is why yellow jackets don't bother me, because I've been covered in yellow jackets.
Yeah.
And that's why I really love blackstrap molasses.
RK, the last batch of pigs we butchered out, we did not boil them, we singed them.
Yeah.
So it was a lot. I mean, it stinks like hell, but
Yeah.
it was a lot easier than trying to boiling. So
Best liver I had was from pig I helped a lady butcher. Oh yeah, scraping them. Yeah, we did that.
at one point I had So my mom moved me into the farm, and then because she and my dad were getting divorced, I had a baby, and a month later, mom moved away.
Yeah.
And she left me with almost 200 mixed breeds of chickens. She had bought a random batch of chickens. And we did not need 200 chickens. And most of them were roosters. So I was doing mass butchering. I'd do however many I could manage at a time. And I stopped trying to pluck them. It was like, nope, we're just skinning everything.
Yeah.
So,
Now, the worst smell with a hog, though, is when you're cooking cracklings.
yeah, yeah.
They taste good, but damn, do they stink when they're cooking.
Oh, yeah, no. All we had to do, mom wanted to render lard once.
Yeah.
Because she'd done it when she was a kid. They used to render bear fat and make leaf lard out of the fat around the kidneys. But she rendered lard and I helped, and I swore off ever doing that again. I will buy it in the bucket.
Yeah.
So yes, Ian is doing an off-camera rant, and we are talking over it because we're not sure he wants to share it in public. So
Yeah.
Cracklins are basically deep fried
Yeah.
skin.
Taxpayer paid incompetence are really grating my last nerve right now.
Ah.
One of the reasons, there are two reasons that I wasn't going to be here. One is I had to work today. The second was I was going to leave work and go get a DBA for Raconteur Press. I do not currently possess a DBA.
Okay.
Apparently, if you live in Itchy County, it has to be done online.
Okay.
Something they neglected to tell me when I called earlier in the week.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah, that's not cool.
They told them to come in,
Yeah, online would be easy and you wouldn't have to talk to taxpayer funded.
which is exactly what you just
Incompetence.
said.
Yes, they could have informed me of that.
Doing business as, not database administrator.
Yeah.
We don't want Ian in charge of the database.
No,
It could also be damage of bomb assessment.
no, that's BDA.
I was trying to make it fit.
Yeah, it doesn't fit.
So, no, I wasted time, money, and goodwill on something that I didn't need to do. So,
Which is ironic because when I did mine out here, I had to go in.
Yeah, now they don't.
Yeah.
COVID.
I'm going to guess that's a COVID change.
Mhm.
no, that's a COVID excuse.
Yeah.
I will guarantee you that it's a change because they're lazy and incompetent.
Yep.
And this way, people yell at computers, not at them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have to say, and this is going to be weird coming on the heels of that ironically, this was a pain in your butt, but my son trying to deal with getting his car registered to himself was a really good experience. The 18-year-old went by himself to our local little tiny DMV here in Tiny Town, and the paperwork is not right because the car is titled to a friend who has had a divorce in the time
fun.
between having purchased the car and having signed the car over to my son. So there's a name change involved. So they sat him down, 18-year-old who was probably a little frazzled at that point, and walked him through everything he needed to do, and then sent him home with all the paperwork that he needs to do.
Whole different department.
It is a whole different department, but I'm just going to say
And
that it's really bad when the DMV is better.
And that's going to spoil him for dealing with most DMVs
I
in the
know
United
it
States.
will. I know it will.
Honestly, the DMV in Denver's not bad. It's like a 2-week waiting list, but once you actually get there to talk to somebody, super fast, super friendly.
So
It's just
what we're seeing
takes
here is
forever.
bits of Cecil fluff. So
Cecil's brains.
does Cecil have brains? I got the back of Cecil's eyes. That's disturbing.
Makes me feel
That
better.
looks like something else.
Makes
Just
me feel
saying.
better. So no, I wasted
Lucky.
I just wasted.
You wasted time and
I
energy.
could have done this earlier in the week.
And now you know, and now we can get it done. I'm being pleasant and helpful today.
New stretch goal, more monkeys.
Do not send more monkeys.
Or multi-twins.
need a
I
multi-tool.
have promised if it gets high enough and I have enough to get glasses, I may also buy Ian a multi-tool.
He has 3.
But we have to get enough for me to get new glasses.
We have 31 people watching and 18 likes. The monkey will continue to dance.
Oh,
Oh, the monkey's been removed.
The
Ian,
eyes are
Ian,
coming
go to
out.
the back. Flip
It's
it
in
inside
the
out
back.
and go to the back, and it'll be easier to pull apart from there. Little slippery black eyes. There we go.
if you've
There's an eye.
never read it, our friend Jennifer has many years ago wrote something called Dance Monkey Dance.
Mhm.
And much like Ian's gun rights cake, it has,
Okay, so if he's got a monkey, who get to clean it up?
You make the mess, you clean the mess. Actually, we're trying to keep it all
Jen.
filtered into one place.
Yeah.
Continue
So-
with your story.
So Jen, who is a brilliant, lovely woman, just the nicest person ever, and she wrote something that I'm gonna think
I feel
is
better now.
probably snarky as heck.
oh yeah, very stark. But it has taken the same life that Ian's gun rights cake has.
She wrote an article on how actors were basically dancing monkeys.
Oh,
And they needed to shut their cake holes and dance monkey dance rather
Okay.
than run their cake holes about
Yeah.
stuff they didn't know about.
Arts organization she used to work with. Note the past
Yes.
tense in that.
Yeah, and it's
but it was originally Jen.
it's originally gun rights cake.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, once you put something out on the internet, it's really hard to keep control of it. So
I ain't
Do
paying
we
to hear
have-
what you think, Dance Monkey Dance.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, Tom.
Yep. Okay. I have a good point. Anthology updates. It is that time of the hour as we slide into the second
Monkeys is
hour.
live.
Moggies in
live.
Space is live. Do we have anthologies? We have All Will Burn is still open for submissions.
Open until the end of the month.
Open until the end of August.
Yes.
We're taking Space Cow missions until 2028.
Space Cowboys submissions still available. There will be more.
These 2 and 3.
I was going to say there will be more Moggies in Space volumes. So if you were writing something and didn't get it finished, go ahead and finish it up and send it in. If you weren't writing something, write that.
We're currently reading stories for the Spriggle Chronicles first book. I think we're like halfway through picking the first ones for the first book.
And I have made the cover for it.
And Cedar's having way
Did
too much
y'all
fun
read
with the
that
cover.
one story I wanted y'all to read?
I don't remember. Probably not.
You would
Jim,
remember.
don't you have an anthology you're ramrodding?
Yes. The library anthology benefit for the library, oil field, 1890s to 1930s, give or take, Texas. Does not have to be down and dirty. It can be romance. It can be horror. It can be whatever the hell you want it to be. Noir. It's a benefit anthology for our local library. And it is due 31 October also.
31 October.
31.
Or August. Nah, whatever the hell month it is.
It's August. How
Thank
the hell
you.
did that happen?
Anyway, we've wasted another hour of your time, folks, and people are starting to run away. So thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Be safe and try to stay out of trouble. And remember, don't sweat the petty stuff and don't stop laughing.
Sorry.
See y'all later. Bye.